Hey everybody, it's James, and I just wanted to do a quick video showing you how you can turn this giant ball of sourdough starter into rolls. I figured I would do the recipe on here, that way you guys would know how to do it, and you can make it for yourself. If you like some starter, let me know, I'll bring you some. Alright, cool, so I've got all my stuff set up here, just like a pro cooking show, right? So the first thing you're gonna do is you want to put in 1.5 cups of water. And it pre-measured, ready to go. And now we're going to take and we're going to add a couple other ingredients. We've got 1/2 cup of sugar. After I added that in, I'm going to stir that up just a little bit. Mixed around. I am going to take this half, do it twice. We're going to do, look at that, bunch of sourdough starter. There's our 1/2 cup. And a full cup of starter in there. Out of the way. I like to take this and mix it all together. That way it's blended nice and evenly throughout when you put the bread in. A lot of starter to move around in there. You'll see it's kind of like a little slurry of sourdough starter, water, and sugar. Now we're going to take, right here we have our butter, and I have 1/2 cup of melted butter we're going to add in there. Now remember, this is for dinner rolls. If you were making a loaf of sourdough bread, it would only be flour, water, and some salt. This is for dinner rolls, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to mix all this in. And I'll show you kind of what we've got here. Let's take a look so you can see. Pretty even mixture. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just, it's not one clump of stuff. This is what I think the trick is. I like to add the flour in slowly. So we're gonna start with our dough hook going. I'm gonna stop that for just a second just to make sure it's running. Now I'm gonna add my first 2 cups of flour in there. And I buy the King's organic flour. We're trying to do, you know, bread at home that doesn't have all the additives. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this real quick. And let that stir for a couple minutes until it starts looking like it's mixed together. Sometimes you have to help it on the side of the bowl a little bit. I'll take the spoon and we'll just scrape those edges. I always keep my bowl off to the side so I can just drop the spoon back in. Okay, that was 2. Let's add our 2 more cups. It's 5 cups total for this one. Add those 2 in. And we're going to see it really start changing with these 2. You see it's kind of making like a shaggy dough in there. And this, a lot of people, I think, they think this is really complicated. This is super, super simple, especially once you get the starter going. And once the starter's going and kicking butt, This stuff is super easy. It's pretty much mix, let it sit, throw it in the oven. You can see a lot of stuff stuck on the edge there. I'm going to help it along, scrape it down. And you can see I like to wait to add the last cup of flour because it's really getting there. It's almost there, but let this really blend together. And I think it helps stretch that bread out with this dough hook a little bit before you really compact it with that last cup of flour. I don't know if you can see, but the bowl is almost clean at this point. Give it a little scrape off the dough hook. And then I'm going to add our last cup of flour on top of it. And I'll put the recipe down in the link in the description so you'll be able to see everything there. So this will be our last cup of flour, so let's let her go. I don't want to go too fast. I don't know if you saw some flour escape. It was like... So while this is mixing, I'll read you the recipe real quick. It's 1 full cup of starter, 1.5 cups of water, 5 cups of flour, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of melted butter, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then just the salt, which I'll be adding here in just a second. And that'll be all. I don't really do a full teaspoon. I kind of just wing it. Put a little salt in it at the end there. Here we go. I love the grinders. Probably about right there. This will end up turning into a really nice dough ball, and that's what's going to rise overnight for this bake. You can go down a rabbit hole online of seeing how long you should knead this. I don't really go too crazy. I go until it looks like a nice, consistent, smooth dough ball, and then I wrap it up and let it ferment. You can really see it starting to actually take shape now into its own little dough ball. As you can see, there we go. The kneading is super important because you're building up the gluten structure there. And that's where the bread gets its strength so it can rise and hold that air in it. I've given starter to a ton of people, and some people like doing this by hand, and I applaud them. It's awesome, but the loaf comes out great either way. So You can use a mixer, or if you don't have one, you could do this by hand. So you don't have to have this mixer to do all this. Push it down just a little bit and give it a little bit different angle there so it gets on the other side of the dough. Push it down. Let it get to the other side there. You see here, hopefully you can see that dough is getting nice and smooth. It's about ready there. I'm gonna go ahead and saran wrap this, and then we'll let this rise overnight, and then I'll give you some updates on the video. Cool. I use my oven as a proofing box, and you can see this is what they look like as they proofed. This one might have had a little too much starter in it. Look at that. Overnight, ready to go and turn them into biscuits. All right, good morning. We are back, and I've already made a couple of these. I forgot to put back on. We're gonna take a small amount of this dough that's risen, push it together, kind of press it together, get a good shape there into a greased pan, and we're gonna let that sit in there for 2 hours to proof before we bake it. Again, letting them proof in the oven for 2 hours. All right, so the oven is preheated to 375, and we're gonna give these guys a little egg wash. This will give you that nice brown color on the top. And then we're gonna pop these in the oven, 375 for about 22 minutes.